Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got a brand new wedge from Callaway, entering into what I think is becoming a really strong trend with wedges. They're calling it the full toe, but we know full face, we know high toe. Callaway's version is called full toe.
Definitely a modification of a wedge we've seen from them
Yes.
in the past with the, with the PM grind. Something that I think was very specific to Phil's taste and his needs and that sort of thing.
It was very unique looking, wasn't it?
It really was, and I think that was maybe the issue with the popularity of that particular one is, it was love it or hate it. You
For sure.
either put it down and went, oh wow, I could do anything with this, or get that way.
It was like a Ping Eye 2 type shape, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was.
Very
of course
extreme.
it was. That's right. Yeah.
When we first picked these up, I had to flip it over before I realized it was even going to be a full toe wedge, because the profile of it, you look at the back badge, you go, okay, looks like a regular wedge. And then when you turn it around, it obviously does have the full face, full toe technology.
Yep.
And we were saying the profile at address, it will remind you of a high toe from TaylorMade.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's the biggest compliment I can pay,
Yeah,
because
which is
that was
a great
up
wedge.
until now the one I liked the shape the most.
Yes.
I really do like the new Cleveland RTX full face.
Yes.
Thought that one was great, but I still think when I put down the high toe, I really like the shape of that one. So the fact that these do look similar is a
positive,
good
right?
thing.
Yeah. I'm noticing, and you said as well, the offset on these is very minimal.
Very
like it's got a
minimal.
great look to it.
It really does. It really does. It's impressive. Even when I saw pictures of it, I didn't expect it to look this good.
No,
I
me
really
neither.
didn't.
It's very, very sharp looking. And there's some cool stuff going on besides the face is not the only feature here.
Yeah.
I guess we can start on the face. So the face is raw, which is kind of interesting, but the rest of the club is not.
You can really feel it. I mean, the texture of it is very rough.
Noticeably different than the rest of it, which I
Yeah.
think people will like. The look of it from here is very polished looking,
Yeah.
but then the face gives you the extra spin of the raw finish,
Absolutely.
obviously. The jaws grooves, which are notoriously very deep and sharp.
Yep.
And there's a new groove technology. Tell me about that. So between each groove, there is some texture in there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that grooves have had is this kind of micro milling between the grooves. Last week when we done MG3, we talked about micro rib,
Right.
And the similar sort of thing. But what I love about what Callaway have done with this is the angle at which they've kind of cut them into the face.
They're calling it an offset.
Yeah. So if we think about the delivery of of how a lot of people hit these shots, and there's lots of kind of swinging across and retaining some loft and that sort of thing. So you're actually placing the milling at the angle at which the club is approaching the golf ball.
So you're opening the face for a lot of these shots.
Yes.
Technically, your grooves are now pointing the wrong direction.
Yes.
But the micro grooves are pointing more towards the correct direction.
Exactly.
That's a
So
smart idea.
they're in line with your club path as it's kind of on its steep downward out to in path, which is the way most people are going to hit those little kind of cut-up
That's
shots.
a clever little feature. Yeah,
Really good.
Really clever little feature. Tell me about this back piece, because they've always had these sort of cool drill outs just as an aesthetic thing. They were always paint filled, but we're noticing the one on the toe is quite close to the back edge, but when you get to the heel, it's quite deep. So they've removed more weight from the heel, less weight from the toe.
Super smart. I mean, really, really smart. I mean, I think in the past that's been, to most people's kind of eye, an aesthetic feature.
Totally.
Now we have it as a technical functional feature. So we know we want to move that mass away towards the toe and up, obviously, and we can see that a little bit at the back.
There's that pad up here that has got extra weight on it.
Exactly. So we're trying to kind of move the mass out there and trying to, obviously stabilize those high hits, those toe hits, which we have so many of. The reason we've got grooves all the way out there is, we do hit more toe strikes when it comes to these wedges. Again, back down to the nature of how we approach it. We have a shorter shaft, the shaft stands steeper.
Yeah.
It makes it much, much easier to get the path moving in that direction.
Right, makes total sense.
I mean, this is the full package when it comes
There's a lot
to
going on here, isn't
the
there?
technology. I mean,
Absolutely.
a wedge is a wedge in a lot of people's eyes, but when it comes to this, it's far more than that.
Love it. So you're going to start with a 75-yard shot. You got the 56. Part of that kind of weight distribution, the toe side and the high weight pad up in the toe, is to apparently control the trajectory of this.
Yep.
So you should be seeing these coming out kind of in that tour flight that we talk about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, raising the CG in order to obviously bring launch down and spin up.
Yep.
Is now accepted. That's what kind of everyone's
right?
been doing. Yep. Raising that CG up there. So it will be interesting to see what we get.
Okay. Let's try a couple. Nice. Ooh, grabs nicely right beside the flag. That's got some zip on it.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see the launch angle staying under 30, which you want, but you were still able to present enough loft, obviously, and have the downward angle of attack to give yourself upper 8,000 spin from 70 yards is going to stop on just about any green, I would think.
It absolutely would.
Sounded really good. Maybe even a little bit lower flighted.
Trying to kind of catch a hair lower in the head.
It sounded like it. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
So you actually launched it a degree lower, spun it more. That last one was really, really nice.
Try and like get a little more spin on
I
one.
like that. Yeah, it's got a little shape to it
Yeah.
too. Oh, yes.
Try a little cutty one that you can get up towards
So
97.
9,600 spin, 9,700 spin there.
Yeah. So bringing the launch down another
Even
degree,
further.
pop the spin up a little bit. So I mean, again, 3 shots in, and I feel like you can play with the trajectory a little bit with these.
You hit a shot, 6 feet, 5 feet, 4 feet, 3 in a row.
Yeah.
You get a comfort level to sort of actually play with different shots.
Yeah. That was, I know that one's not kind of got all the way back there, but that one felt fantastic.
Yeah, you just a little bit more swing speed on the next one, you'll be right there. That's nice. That's come
A
to
little
a
more
dead
bold
stop.
to throw it back, but
Yeah.
similar.
Similar, just a little bit more spin there, slightly lower.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest difference is I love all the technology, I love everything that's going on, back and face, the soul.
Yeah,
You know,
I wouldn't
really,
have picked up on that until you said that.
I really think that's a really nice soul. And kind of, in all honesty, when I first looked at the spec sheet and I saw 10 degrees of bounce or 12 was the only 2 options, I kind of went, maybe they're missing something a little bit here. They haven't quite captured, all the different soul options that you might look for, but these feel fantastic.
And that's just kind of a C grind they've stated on here. You can see
Yeah.
there's a bit of relief in the heel and toe. It looks like it's plenty.
It really does. I don't feel like there's a shot I would be hampered from being able to play with these. I feel like I'm really kind of got all the options. Yeah, I think back when when I see all these different technologies and the way these faces and wedges are evolving, I think back to when the groove rule came in.
Yeah.
And people were kind of like, well, what do we do now? How do we stop it now? And now I'll look at what these are capable of, and it seems like we can spin the ball more now than we even could back then, since they limited the groove.
Well, because the face milling wasn't really a thing, was it?
No.
Or if it was probably like in its infancy in
Yeah.
terms of a technology.
Absolutely.
This seems like very advanced comparatively. Like that's a really cool idea to put it on an offset like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a really, really neat little feature. I mean, you can really see it, and that face is absolutely sandblasted. I mean, for roughness and friction, it would be a great one to do a wet wedge test with this one.
That would be very
see how
good.
it holds up in kind of the moisture and stuff like that.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah, I don't feel like I would be hampered from playing a full shot with this. If I needed to hit a 60 degree, 85 yards, I feel like that sole is going to allow me to do that.
Because the sole, you're right, does look like a traditional sole you'd find on a regular Jaws wedge or a Vokey wedge, kind of a C grind. There's nothing kind of too specialty about it.
Nothing at all.
Love it.
Impressed, very impressive. I could pop one of these in the bag in a heartbeat.
I can see you testing some of these for sure.
Yeah, the 60 in particular is one I could throw in there and have some fun with, because I did like the high toe.
Yeah.
I was very limited to the fact that I only could chip with it and in the rough and stuff like that. I couldn't do anything else with it.
Yeah, it wasn't wouldn't have been a 75 yard or a 60 yard club for you,
No.
especially out of the fairway, right, where you got to
Yeah.
really strike the ball just right.
Yeah,
Nice.
Cool. Very cool.
Well, maybe you can take them over to your club and give us a little report maybe on a live in a couple of weeks or something, because it seems like they suit you quite nicely. You've always kind of had an eye for a Jaws wedge, if I can recall.
Yeah, I like the MD5s. I played those for a little while last year. So yeah, I think that's the perfect little kind of combination. If you had maybe, if you didn't like the full kind of face, the full toe kind of with the grooves, maybe do your standard gap wedge and sand wedge perhaps.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you only tend to play the specialty shots with a 60, but if you do tend to open up this 56 and the 60 or the 54, you can go all the way down to 54 with these guys.
Yeah, that's the lowest lofted one, and you can go up to a 64.
64.
So you a 62 and a 64.
Yep.
So you could really play some specialty shots. And then you're right, a standard Jaws at a 56 or 58 and a gap wedge. Yeah, that could make out quite a nice set.
Impressive.
Impressed with those?
Good stuff. You know, I'm sure the Callaway staffers will be throwing them in the bag and sort of getting their own feels for them.
I think probably a much more digestible, appealing looking version of that PM grind. I think the PM grind performance-wise probably would have been, let's say, somewhat similar to this. But in terms of an address position, I think most just regular players and tour players probably looked at it and went, that's not for me.
Definitely.
Whereas this is just closer to being traditional, I think.
Yep. Love it.
Okay, awesome. So those are the Jaws full toe, I almost said full face again, full toe wedges. Available August 26th. Maybe some of you have gotten out to a demo day where they are there. If you have, let us know what you thought. I think we were pretty impressed so far with these and look forward to probably put them in a little roundup with some other wedges coming soon. Yeah,
they'll make their way into the matrix here. There's no doubt about that. This was the first time really I've seen them in person, as I say, so they will make their way in there, and it will be interesting to see what the consumer's opinion is when you offer them you got to say, a Vokey versus this, you know, because Vokey hasn't went there yet.
No, and I wonder if they ever will.
I don't know. I would doubt it.
I would
doubt it, but never say never. But to put this against that would be very interesting.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll do some more wedge testing in the near future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.